Give it up for Shoal.
Thank you. Good afternoon, my name is Neetu. If I could quickly introduce the rest of my wonderful team first. This is Lee, Jamie, Azar, and the wonderful Rory. We are excited to present our project to you called Web App Shoal. So, pulling from my experience as a people manager in the past, myself and fellow member here, Lee, we encountered a lot of challenges with trying to get honest feedback from our employees or team members. So ironically, employee engagement surveys are the most disengaging exercise to participate in. So we wanted to find a solution for this, and we wanted to make it more engaging, and we wanted it to be dynamic, so that when an announcement is made or there's a process of evaluation, it is live and interactive. So both the organisation and the member are involved in the change or simply understand each other better. Our app Shoal has a facility to post a discussion in which the user can then post live comments. It can also vote up or down, and they can actually post anonymously. So we are more honest when we post secretly, because there's a secret keyboard warrior in us all. So what makes Shoal different is that actually, once they've posted, the manager can also post and actually be steered by the live comments and by the votes. So I'm going to hand you over to Lee here, who's going to show Shoal in action. Thank you.
Thanks, Neetu. So, this is our lovely login page with Firebase authentication, which takes us to the bootstrapped dashboard. On the left-hand side, you can see the active discussions. In the middle, anything you've participated in. And on the right is all the old archive discussions. So we're going to go to a live discussion now. Favourite Johnny-isms? Everyone's familiar with that, yeah? Okay. Right, so the main key point is at the top, and then the latest key point is just underneath there, which it says latest key point. That is usually put in there by the manager in response to the comments that are on the right-hand side there. The comments on the right are ordinarily anonymous, and by default they're anonymous. They're anonymous at the database level unless you specify that you want your name to be there for the credit. So if you've got an idea or something like that. The chart in the middle represents the mood of the discussion as it stands at the moment. And as you can see, you've got a nice clear upturn there, and in a moment it'll get to a bit more mixed, and then everyone's going to vote negatively, and you can see a very clear downtrend. So we'll go from here and we'll move on to the archive discussions. So the archive discussion has all the same data as the live discussion does, with the exception that it also has this extremely snazzy slider at the bottom there. This slider allows you to filter data by the key points that are at the top of the page there, so that you can see what trends emerge based on what key points have been posted by whichever manager has posted that key point. And you'll see here, Susan's been fired, and everyone's got very happy. And then, just to confirm later on, they're even happier still. One last thing I want to show you is that managers can post. This bit's a little bit too long, so someone's going to skip forward. I'd like to pass you on to Jamie for the tech stack.
Thanks, Lee. The tech stack. I'm supposed to list off everything that we don't know, but it'd be a lot easier to just tell you what we do know, which was JavaScript. That was it. We didn't know anything else. So for the front end, we use Vue.js. We learned React and became quite familiar with it on the course, so we needed to get something to really push our boundaries, and Vue did that quite dramatically. So Vue is a framework rather than a library like JavaScript, so it dictates to you how the code should be written, whereas the library you can type a little looser. Vue is gaining traction in the community, it's got a lot of respect from developers, and it's actually got 10K more stars on GitHub than React does. And it's being implemented by more and more commercial enterprises. So it made sense to use this. For the back end, there's technically not one. It's serverless on a non-relational database with Cloud Firestore. We use Cloud Firestore because Lee told us to. in reality, when we were doing spiking, we had two groups. So we had one group who looked at Express, which we learned on the course, and then MongoDB with WebSockets, both of which would have been new to us, and another team who looked at Cloud Firestore. That Cloud Firestore team got up and running dramatically quicker. It's got lots of nice little functions in it, and it's got WebSockets built in as well. So we wouldn't have the need for all of the extra gumph that comes with Mongo for it to just do the same thing. And as Lee alluded to, the Firebase authentication, it was a no-brainer to use it. It's made to be used with Cloud Firestore. It's scalable and securely holds all of the user details. So again, it was a no-brainer. Chart.js, I don't want any groans. It's technically a DOM package, but we found a nice little Vue wrapper so that Vue could actually do something with it. So it reacts with all of the data from Cloud Firestore and will actually re-render rather than doing nothing, which it would do if it was a DOM chart. So under the hood is more important. All this is useless if it's not pulled together effectively. So under the hood, what happens is that Cloud Firestore has nice functions, which are snapshots. So anything that changes in the database then gets fired over to the front end. And each of these components are all separate, all have their own listener functions, which Rory will move on to when he discovers the challenges that we had, especially with the chart. Each of them react independently and then re-render for that. So it did cause some issues, but it was pretty decent. I'm going to pass you on to Rory to talk about those challenges.
Yeah, we had quite a few challenges that we weren't expecting, as you can imagine. Firestore gives you 50,000 daily reads a day. Sounds like a lot. It really isn't when you run into some problems, when you don't know how it all works. So we got through it. We were going, okay, cool, we're doing okay. Started off all right. Sort of partway through the second day of formally using Firestore, after we'd set up all of our sort of fields and everything. It's non-relational, so we just fired stuff in, started working. We had a few of us on, looking, editing as our own little component, so everyone was listening. And each component has its own listener function, which makes a read to the database every time some data is updated. So we thought, oh, we're doing all right. We hit a roadblock and couldn't see anything at all. Like, okay, what's happened? Who's broken something? Who's pushed a dev? Who's broken this? Bit of digging, we find out, actually we've used our quota for the day, which we did not think we would do, because at first we were doing about 20 reads an hour. I was like, oh, not really anything at all. And suddenly 50,000 were elapsed, and I was like, oh dear. So we dug in, found out we had listeners that weren't being detached properly, which we went through, solved, and thought, you know what, we've done great now. We have smashed it. We're never going out of reads again. Until the next day, when Jamie decided that he would do a very inventive graph that would listen in real time and would ping the server 6 times a second, every second. And, he went away, got some lunch, went to the shop, left it running, and of course we used 50,000 reads in about 2 hours. It was lovely to discover that, again, it happened. We were this close to spending about $25 for 100,000 more reads. Then I thought, hey, let's make a new database. It's non-relational. We can just push data to it. Easy does it. So that was really interesting to sort of grapple our heads around. We had a few other issues. Vue being an entirely new framework to us was probably the biggest one. Getting used to the fact that props need to be declared, and otherwise just nothing will render, and you'll be a bit confused as to why that's happening. Anyway, we'll move on to Azar, who will tell us about stuff we learned.
Yeah, so from the start of the project, we wanted to challenge ourselves. We wanted to push our boundaries, and that was one of the reasons we chose this tech stack. We learned everything from scratch, and as daunting as that sounds, it was quite a fruitful experience for us. We had varying experiences with Vue. Guys, gonna get a show of thumbs on Vue? Yeah, there was a bit of a learning curve to Vue, but by week 2 we were quite productive with it, and we're just getting along with it. These difference in views we have is just based on the working environment that Vue presents to us, and it's just really some of us liked it, some of us didn't. Onto Git, we used for Git version control. We used Git. It was the first time we used merged complex code for using Git, and we started off with branching away from the master branch as far as possible, working on our own separate branches for different components. And when it came to merging anything that was stylish or any styling components that we did, we had 2 people merge and pull those requests in and just view it and approve it. And anything that was functional, we had the whole team look on it, approve it, just to make sure everything was robust straight after. Onto Agile-inspired practice. These are some of the Agile-inspired practices we used. And for our project, we felt that the key to a successful project was having good communication. And we felt that the stand-ups that we had, we were doing them at the start of the day, the end of the day, and whenever a team member felt that they needed to discuss a problem or issue, we just got up all together, had a stand-up, discussed the problem. It was a great way to get new updates on the whole project, find out what we needed to do tomorrow, and just to make sure everyone was on the same page. And that's all from me. Thanks for watching, and we're open to questions.